And welcome back to Charlottesville Insights. This is Jeff Gaffney, your host, and we have Jennifer Marchetti in the program with us today in the studio. And she is the Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate in the corporate office. And she flew down from New Jersey to be with us today. And Jennifer, would you mind talking to us a little bit about the history of the Better Homes and Gardens brand? Because the real estate brand was in the market years ago, and then it went through a little evolution, and now you're back again. How does that work?
Absolutely. So the Better Homes and Gardens real estate brand has been in the market, but I'll talk about what it used to be like and then what it is like today. Back in, I believe, 1978, Meredith said, we have this wonderful brand in Better Homes and Gardens, and it translates so well into real estate because, when you think about real estate, it's the most important transaction anyone will ever go through. And so to work with a brand that someone knows and trusts is a big plus. Meredith did a great job growing the brand for about 20 years. And then roughly around 1998, they sort of evolved out of the real estate industry at the time. And so during that period of time, the brand sort of was sunsetted. And then back in 2008, our parent company, which is Realogy Corporation, worked with Meredith and said, the market's changing, the consumers are changing, what consumers expect from a brand and from a real estate experience are very different. Let's bring this brand back and let's create a brand for the future of real estate. And that's what my boss, Sherry Chris, the CEO of the brand, did in 2008.
Well, you have some amazing people that you work with. What's it like working with Sherry Chris and Wendy Forsyth? I mean, you're there with some of the most powerful people in the real estate business.
Absolutely. And actually, for me, it's been a tremendous pleasure because I actually have come from the hotel industry. So I have not been born and raised in real estate, but I've always been attracted to this industry because I believe the people are wonderful and really you're empowering consumers to do the most important thing that they'll probably ever do in their lives outside of maybe, having a family or hitting other milestones like that. But from a financial perspective, you're changing people's lives. You're also in real estate the ambassadors of a community. And so for me, a big attraction to coming into this brand 1 year ago was to work for Sherry Chris. I mean, you said it, Jeff. She is a celebrity. I mean, she is a visionary. She understands the future, but she has such a strong expertise building a career over the past 30 years that every day for me it's learning. And with Wendy and with Rick Gregory as colleagues, they are just wonderful partners to me as I get up to speed in the industry. But what's really nice about our team is that they say, at least, that I bring something different to the table as well, coming from a different industry.
That's
we
important.
all share the same values.
That's important. Now, would you mind explaining to our listeners the whole concept of Realogy? Because that is a massive corporation that owns not just one real estate brand, but several, and the power players that are involved in that company. Would you mind touching on that for us?
Absolutely. Realogy is an amazing company. It's headquartered in Parsippany, New Jersey, and in its franchise group, the brands that it owns and oversees include Coldwell Banker, Century 21, ERA, and then also we have Sotheby's and Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. So it's an amazing organization from a brand franchising standpoint. We touch so many transactions worldwide every single day and every single month. So for me, it's just amazing because the expertise in that building, what we're able to do is leaps and bounds what I've seen anywhere else.
And Alex Perillo is the CEO of Realogy
Franchise Group. Yes.
And what's it like working with him? He's an amazing man. We had him in town. He was actually in Charlottesville in April as we were able to celebrate our 1 year anniversary with Better Homes and Gardens brand. What's it like working with Alex?
Well, I have to tell you, Alex Perillo is beyond being an exceptional leader because, as you know, you've met him, he is an icon in the industry. His expertise, his experience, his commitment to making this industry the very best it can be is something that is very, very unique. But as a human being, he is an exceptional person. And I think when you think about CEOs, there are a lot of CEOs out there who have vision. There's a lot of CEOs out there who are great at their job. But there are very few CEOs who have both of those qualities and just can be approachable, who their employees want to rally around, who is an accessible person, always willing to listen to new ideas and push the company forward. And he was a tremendous reason I also joined the brand.
I am surprised that you're able to have all those brands under one roof. Does that seem like a unique situation? I mean, because you have on one floor, you have ERA, and on the other floor, you'll have Century 21 and Caldwell Banker Sotheby's. And then, of course, there's the very fresh and hip-looking Better Homes and Gardens. It looks like something out of Zappos.
It's very cool, yes.
It's much different than visiting the other brands.
Well, it's funny because as I was sharing earlier, I came from an industry where most of the companies were multi-brand. And when you think about multi-brand companies and you think about particularly the way Realogy has done it, Realogy has done the best of both. So where it makes sense, there are certain things when you think about kind of shared services like, accounting and, finance and legal, all the great expertise that are very functional. We have a center of excellence in that building.
And why recreate the wheel?
Why recreate the wheel? However, at the brand level, all the things that make the brands unique, operations, service, marketing are very, very separate because we respect and understand that our brands are different. And by the way, that's by design. They each have their specific place, and they all, as a portfolio, make a lot of sense. But when you're a broker, you're an agent, you can be sure that your brand is unique and sacred. But, Realogy brings power and support that no other company in real estate can bring.
Now, the boss of the bosses is Richard Smith,
yes.
I understand. And I'll ask you what his title is in just a second. But when I've seen him speak, he is one of the brightest men I've ever been in the room with, and I end up taking notes after notes. Talk to us about the power and influence of Richard Smith, and start, if you would, with what his title is.
So Richard Smith, he's the chairman and CEO of Realogy. He is the most, as you said it, I couldn't have said it better. He is the most exceptional CEO, especially, it's one thing to be an exceptional leader in good times. It's quite another to be an exceptional leader when the industry depends on you to be that light for the industry. And so, as one of the most, if not the most powerful person in the industry because of the scope of Realogy, Richard is often not just a CEO for us and for our companies, but he's a thought leader for the industry in Washington, D.C. He is thoughtful about getting our brokers and our agents rallying behind what the future of the industry needs to be. He's very mindful of, how important this industry is for the economy of the U.S. And so, again, Jeff, whenever I've had the pleasure of being in the same room as him, I do the exact same thing. I just take notes.
We're here with Jennifer Marchetti, Vice President of Marketing and Communications from Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate in the corporate office. We were just talking about Richard Smith. By the way, when I turned on Fox Business News the other day, there was Richard giving a long update on the housing market. So, he's obviously well thought of in the media world.
He is. He's so well respected. He is really at the forefront of thought and innovation, and he's really working very hard to make things better for the industry, not just for our own brands, but for the industry at large.
Would you say the Better Homes and Gardens real estate brand, is it one of the fastest growing brands in the country right now?
It is one of the fastest growing brands. And I think, again, it is a breath of fresh air for the industry. Right. And where we saw white space in the industry, which is, there's amazing brands out there that have been doing things so well for decades and decades. But when you think about the direction that consumers are coming into the future, you think about technology, you think about just especially in times like this being transparent and authentic and making sure that you're at the forefront of new thought. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate combines all of that with the idea that, real estate is not just about the transaction. Obviously, that's core to it, and that's a central part of what drives our industry. But when you think about how to serve a consumer, it's about making sure that we as real estate professionals are there to offer consumer insights into the community and the lifestyle that they want.
Well, this has been an awesome time to spend with you, Jennifer Marchetti from Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Corporate. Thanks for being on the show, and we will see you all next week on another edition of Charlottesville Insights. Thank you.